It's time for...
Is it worth it? Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
All right, so how this is going to work is we're going to go through these decks, and we're going to give you the value of our reprints, the value of the reprints and all that, and a few of the cards. We're doing 5 cards each because we got a lot of cards to talk about, and like Larry said, we are going to go an hour and a half because everything else took a long time there.
That is how we do.
So we're going to give you 5 cards that we think are interesting. Maybe not necessarily financially interesting. Maybe it is, and they just haven't hit that yet. But we're going to go through all that. And then at the end, we're either going to go, is it worth it?
Baby, I'm worth it.
And you can't hear that, can you, Larry? No. Or
It's
if we don't think it's worth it, it's...
The price is wrong.
Price is wrong, bitch. So... First off, so we have the four decks here. We have Hail Caesar, Scrappy Survivors, Science, and Mutant Menace. So first on the list, we're going to go...
Thank you. Science!
Yeah, that's a good point. It is an
There's an
exclamation point.
yeah.
We are going off of Goldfish just because they have all the prices up and all the cards. If you go to the Wizard site, I'll just show you. Oh, actually, I do want to mention this before we get on to that. There is, like I mentioned earlier, between 37 and 41 new cards. Each deck has a different amount that's in there. It's the normal, what do you have with the Commander decks? The Commanders are foil. Everything else is going to be non-foil. But they are giving us these basic lands from Fallout. So we got one art from like the newer Fallout, I think. I don't play Fallout, and I know you don't play Fallout.
I don't, nope.
But it says it here that it's depict isometric perspectives reminiscent of the classic Fallout games is the second one. So you can kind of see that's like a topographic look to it from above compared to the newer one. So each one has 2 different arts, and I think they look really good. These are really sweet looking lands. So I dig those. I'm gonna want them in
I'm
foil.
alright with that.
So I'll probably try to pick those up from the people that sell them off of the packs, because you could get these in the packs, collector boosters as well to get these decks. They did it different than, because Warhammer they had the Surge foil decks and they had the normal decks, no packs. They realized they could make more money if they sold packs, so they went that way and give you just the normal stuff. So I think that's it from the notables here. Yes. So then everything else is the stuff you get in there. All right, so let's start with, how is it, Lowry?
Science!
So
Turn the finger.
So as you can see, Goldfish has a value just straight up 132. This deck itself, let me just say this. Science is $50. Mutant Menace is $59. Hail Caesar is $59. And Scrappy Survivors is $50 if you're going to TCG. Well, I'll say that at the beginning of each one of these, but just kind of giving you a price of what it is. So again, Goldfish has this price of 132, but they add up everything, every little thing, and then even... they put prices to the new stuff. We don't know what the prices are going to be on these. I mean, we do have pre-sale, but you really don't know until things are in person and people actually start buying them. So don't go off of that price. Kind of go off of this price. So in this deck, there isn't a lot of good reprints, and you kind of foreshadowed to that in the beginning.
Right. There's just not a lot of reprints.
Right.
Because let's say you have, it's probably more, but roughly 35 land, and they're saying you have 38 new cards, and so right there is 70. So you have at total 30 reprints.
Yeah. So
it's kind of a third land, third new cards, third reprints.
And of that, that 30, there is a total of 13 cards that are over $1. So that kind of gives you an idea of that. And there's only 3 cards that are even worth $5 or more. Actually, it's $5. You have Treasure Vault is $5. We have, oops, I got to get my mouse over here. We have Panharmonicon, which is $5, and Lightning Greaves, which just, it gets printed a crap ton. It goes up and down, but it stays between that $5 and $8 to $9 mark. So 3 cards, $5 each, gives you 15, and then you have 11 cards that are between $1 and $3. So you're looking at
you went deep. I just did 2 and up. What are you doing?
Well, no, it's 11 cards. It's going to be the same thing. So it's only a total of $26. There isn't of reprint value. This doesn't have it. So good, bad. I wish we had a couple other ones that were a little bit more expensive. But let's talk about the new cards. The new cards are what matter in this one. Of the new cards, there's cool new cards. There isn't ones I would say that are like just mind-boggling whatever, but there's probably 2 of them that I could see being used a lot, and we'll get to those in a second.
Okay.
But let's first start with the Commander. Obviously, I think is a great card. The Commander is 1 blue, 1 red, 1 white. Dr. Madison Lee. She is a 2/3 human scientist, right? Yeah, scientist. It's very small. Scientist. This one doesn't have to. This is your energy commander, but it doesn't have to just be energy, but because you could just cast artifacts. So it's whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get an energy. You can tap it, pay 1 energy. Target creature gains 1/0 trample and haste until end of turn. Tap it, pay 3 energy, draw a card, or you can tap it and pay 5 energy. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So
I like that.
yeah, right now don't look at the price on the side. The $13. That's not what it's necessarily going to be at. Let's wait until this hits. But I think this is a cool commander. You can build not just an energy deck. You don't have to deal with energy. You can just be an artifact deck and utilize this as bonus. You know, you get recursion built in on your commander. You have draw built on your commander, and then you can give your stuff haste and trample and 1/0.
Well, and she just feeds into herself, which is the nice thing. Like you're saying, it doesn't have to be an energy deck. She does all the energy you need.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you're an artifact deck, you got it. But if you also add in energy cards that
It helps
red,
you
white,
out.
blue were the main energy cards from Kaladesh block, like that's how you can do it either way. I do like the design. I like what's going on there.
Yep, I think this. Well, and we're going to be doing budget upgrades later at a different date. Hopefully, maybe it might be a little too far out once we get back. Yeah, that's probably a good point. Might be too far out at that point. But if I were to do budget upgrades, I'd probably add, like you mentioned, some of the energy that we do have that are actually usable, like Aetherworks. Is it Aetherworks Marvel?
Marver, yeah, Marver.
Marver. Anyways,
Sorry, Scooby-Doo there for a second.
All right. So that would be my first one to talk about. The next one would be. Oh, I do like this one. It is Curie Emergent.
Emergent.
Yeah, it was like emergent, intelligent. Intelligence. It's one colorless, 1 blue for a 1/3. It's a robot. It's a legendary artifact creature. When it deals damage to a player, draw cards equal to its base power. You can tap 2, exile another non-token artifact creature you control. This you can do it instant speed. You can do this at any point. It becomes a copy of that exiled creature, except it has whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw cards equal to its base power. So you could just. You have your Blightsteel Colossus. I'm going extreme there, but Blightsteel Colossus. Now you have a Blightsteel Colossus that you draw cards off when it deals damage. It won't have that you won't be able to do it more than once because it changes into that
singular change.
Yep. So you change
but
it.
that stays permanent as well.
So you pop it. You just basically upgrade a creature. In an early game, you can just be attacking with this and drawing a card off of it. Now when it says base, what it means is like if you give it 2/0, you won't be able to draw off of that. It's what its base is, right? Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I was making sure.
But it also means like oftentimes there's like, you draw as many cards as you've dealt damage with it, or just like you get to draw a card if you deal damage. And so this is, if this one as a 1/3, you get to draw 1, but if it's a Blightsteel or whatever, you get to do 12.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because its base power is
no.
The base would be 11/11.
Is it 11/11?
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I mean, poison's damage, right?
Yeah. I
don't know.
Yes, it is. It's damage. It just says it deals damage in poison instead, is what it says. It's like a replacement effect or whatever.
Right.
But here's an interesting. This is stupid what I'm going to say here. But if somebody goes, I give it -0, -5, -0, you're still going to draw a card because its base is 1. It's not modified.
But if it didn't deal damage, then you're not drawing cards. Oh, but to the Blightsteel version of it?
Sure. That's what I
All
meant.
right. I'm trying to make it work for you.
All right, let's move on. We don't need to talk about this one that long.
No, I do like that. I like clone effects for
Yeah.
sure, and that's kind of what this is.
I like it because it is an instant speed thing. Because a lot of times you'll see things and it'll be like, "Do this at sorcery speed." This one is what if that creature's dying anyways? You could use this as like, "Well, I tap 2. Now that's dead. It's gonna die, so we're gonna put it into this one, or vice versa, or whatever." So, not thinking this one's gonna be really expensive, but I just think it's a cool card. And the next one is and then I get out of the creatures, and I
That's some quick.
yeah. This one's kind of fun. I don't think it's also either really that good. It's 79 cents, but expert level safe. It's 2 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, exile the top 2 cards of your library face down, so no one can see it, not even you. Then you can tap 1. You and target opponent each secretly choose 1, 2, or 3. Then the chosen numbers are shown. If they match, you get those 2 cards and put all the cards into your hand. If they don't match, you exile the top card of your library face down. So here's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, it's kind of fun. You're at least maybe getting 2 cards. You might get more. Maybe you never hit it. But if you use politics with it, if it's late game and somebody's the problem, you can choose somebody. Like if we were in that last game, we would not choose Guy. I'd be like, hey, Lowry. Well, actually, I wouldn't trust you. I would have gone to Russ because I would see you changing it just to be a dick. But I'd be like, hey, Russ, I don't know what cards are there, but this is our best chance. Pick 3. And then if we both pick 3, then I get to draw the cards, and then see if we have an answer there. So I don't think this one's going to be really expensive, but I think it's kind of a fun card. Even if you don't have politics, you have a 33.333% chance of selecting the same thing. Is that how that would work? Yeah.
No, that math. I don't think that math checks.
Well, it's 1 in 3. You got a 1 in 3 chance. That's
I don't
33.
think you do, though.
Yeah, because you got to have the same number. Get what I'm saying?
But there's not 3 options of
Yeah, there is 1, 2, or 3. They have to.
configuration.
Yeah, there
You
could
both could be 1.
Yes,
You both could be 2. You both could be 3.
but if I'm picking
and then you could be a 1. They could be a 2 or a 3.
right,
Then you could be a 2. They
Right.
could be a 1 or a 3.
but if I pick one number, that means there's only 3 numbers it could be. So there's a 33.3% chance
that's
that
not math then.
That's exactly how it is. It doesn't matter where my number is. Whatever number I chose, I have a 1 in 3 chance
it's
of picking
based off
the same.
of the combinations that are possible, not on.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying, combinations, but I'm just saying like it's a 1 in, it's 33 point. It's 33. We got Chad even agreeing. I'm picking a number. It doesn't matter if I chose 1, 2, or 3. There's a 33.33% chance they're choosing the same number I just chose. It doesn't matter if I chose 1 and 1. It's 33.333. It is. I promise. See, everybody's saying. Well, I guess it's Oat is saying the same thing, but it's what it is. I was just telling you. Now we're getting a discussion with that. All right, so
I stopped. You just keep going.
I'm just trying to make it so you understand it, but
No, I understand that you're wrong.
do you know how many years of math I took? You son of a bitch. Because I had to repeat classes. Let's not tell that part, but.
Do you know how long it took me to become a gym teacher?
Yeah, you're saying if it was random, it would be lower. Okay, then the next one would be this one. Where is it? Nuka-Cola. Where are you? There he is. Nuka-Cola vending machine. 3 colorless for an artifact. You can tap 1, tap it, create a food token. Yeah, it's food. Food. Let's make use of food. Whenever you
always pick the food cards.
because whenever it makes food good. Whenever you sacrifice a food, create a tap treasure token.
I just remember spending like 45 minutes on why food was bad.
Lord of
when
the
it first
Rings.
came out.
Lord of the Rings made food decent because they
I'm
had
pretty sure you picked the. All right.
what?
I get it. You've always liked food.
Food
And
is delicious.
oftentimes when people speak out against something that they say they dislike, they really do like it. It's called you're like in the closet foodie. That's.
But this makes food actually decent. You get a food token. It's gonna go on all those food decks. But the cool thing is like you get a bonus from your food, sacking food, gaining life. You get a treasure token out of it. So I think this one's a pretty sweet card as well.
that's a good transition.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then the last one. This one is actually where I think is probably going to be worth a little bit. It is over encumbered. Over encumbered.
You got it, but you still get
Can't even read.
Is that even a word? Over encumbered.
encumbered.
Over encumbered.
Is over encumbered.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. It's one colorless enchant opponent when it enters the. This is the only part I don't like, but I get it. But when it enters the battlefield, the enchanted opponent creates a clue, a food, and a junk token. Junk tokens, what they are, is you tap and sacrifice, exile the top card of your library, and you can play it until the end of your turn. But at the beginning of combat, on enchanted opponents, on their turn, that player may pay 1 for each artifact they control. If they don't, creatures can't attack this combat. So this is an interesting one where if somebody's playing a lot of treasures, or they just played their dockside extortionist, or they just have a lot of mana rocks, this really hinders them from being able to attack at all. You're not going to get rid. The only problem is you are giving them 3 things. The clue they got to pay 2 for, the food they got to pay 2 for, the junk is free. So you're giving them 2 things that they're going to have to sacrifice in order to attack, or they tap the 2. I think this one could be interesting. There's a lot of treasure. We all play mono rocks. I think this could hinder a lot of decks out there. So I think they add those. I think
that one. I like it a lot.
I think they add those 3 things in there because if they didn't, this would just be brutal for players in general because you just have mono rocks.
It'd have to be more mana.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So there's the cards. Nothing really stood out to me in the deck. Like I was just like, oh, I can't wait.
So you didn't really like the science one, you're saying?
Well, let's get to that.
Is it worth it?
Is it
Let me
worth it?
work it.
Is it worth it for you, from what I showed you of the 5 cards I chose and the reprints and the value there? Is this deck worth it at $50 for you?
If I was just getting 5 new cards, then no. But I know that it's 30 plus cards.
Right.
I like new cards. Number one, all of these are going to be worth it for me.
So we'll just hit this right away.
I would say energy
It's
is
worth it.
interesting. I'm all about this one for sure. What do you want?
This is the only I like the new cards. I like that angle. I bought it because I got the bundle. Got it from CK Credit. But if I'm just going strictly like the value and what's in here, the reprints and what I've looked at, these are the 5 I picked out that I'm like could be used not just in this deck but other places. Mm-hmm. I didn't like this one as much. I like the next deck, but I didn't like this one as much. So for me, if I'm just going strictly deck to deck to deck, this one would
The price is wrong.
would not be worth it for me. So all right, so now we move to your deck.
Hey, hold on. Should we flick a bean?
Good point.
All right.
And again, who is this brought to us by?
This is from Scott last
If
week.
I can get this out.
Appreciate.
I can't get my
everything
bean
you
out.
do.
Get out, bean. There we go. All right. Mine's going to be either egg. Oh, no. Birthday cake or dirty dishwater.
Mine's orange. Did
All
you
right,
flick it?
Flick it.
I got mine.
Nope. Mine's a butter popcorn.
Yeah, that's not bad. Strawberry banana smoothie.
Yeah, butter popcorn's pretty good.
That's real stuff.
All right.
Thank you. That's delicious.
The next deck we're going to talk about is Mutant Menace. And Maury, you broke this deck apart. Is it $185 worth? We'll find out.
No, I only have like 6 cards that were over $2.
Oh, really?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, and this deck is current price on TCG is $59. So
yeah,
it's almost $10 more than the last deck we talked about.
So the big ones that are basically exactly $10. You got Branching Evolution that was just reprinted.
This
just a couple months ago, right?
Yeah.
Was it Dinosaur deck? Dinosaur deck, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
That
Maybe.
might sound
Well,
right.
within the last year, 6 months.
Yeah. We'll go that. And then you also have Guardian Project, which was also just reprinted in Commander Masters. And another one, but definitely Commander Masters. And then, so this is the Mutant one is like rad counters. You're doing some milling and a lot of +1/+1 counter synergies. And rad counters is a new mechanic that Adam explained to me 5 minutes before the cast, where before combat, as many rad counters as you have, you mill that many cards. And for every non-land card that you mill, you lose a life and get rid of a rad counter, and those stick with you until they're all gone. And so, but you're milling cards and getting 1/1 counters. That's kind of what this deck is doing. Let's go with, actually I gotta probably look it up because I can't read it on the screen either.
Are you gonna start with the wise Mothman?
Yeah. We'll just do that. What did I do? Yeah, we did that. All right. So it's gonna be the wise Mothman. One.
Oh,
black,
RoboCop.
blue.
Thank
Donated
you.
10.
We will add that to the meter. He's getting it started again like he did last time. All right.
Thank you, kindly.
Thank you, RoboCop. All right. Go ahead. Keep going.
So the wise Mothman, 1, a black, a green, a blue, 3/3 flyer. When it ETBs or attacks, each player gets 1 rad counter. Whenever 1 or more non-land cards are milled, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number of non-land cards milled this way. And so, like I said, rad counters, you're milling, you're putting 1/1 counters on it. And I kind of like what's going on here. Mill is gonna make Nick real mad, for no reason, because I don't think you're really going to mill anybody out with this deck unless you add in some extra mill pieces for sure. But that could also be why Mesmeric Orb was kind of sold out on Card Kingdom a couple weeks ago. So they're looking for more mill. And
well, proliferation would work with this too, then adding the counters and all that.
Yeah. And there's a handful of proliferation cards in here
this.
as
Okay,
well.
cool.
So that's going on as well. So next card that I'm just fucking bopping around, aren't I? Okay. So I said Branching Evolution, Guardian Project. Those are the 2 big ones at $10. You got Hardened Scales, Inexorable Tide. That's the proliferation whenever you cast a spell.
Okay.
And then you have basically Drowned Catacomb, Hinterland Harbor, and Woodland Cemetery. That's everything that's over 2. A total of $33 in reprints that are worth it by any means.
Okay.
And so that's what it is.
So it's like
got,
that's more than
you got
mine.
the commander out of the way.
Yep. Got the commander. All right. What is your next card that you dig on this one?
It's going to be Watchful. I did all this in the dark. So my
Watchful Rad Stag? Is that what you're looking at?
That's well, that's the other thing. They're making up words here. All right. Watchful Rad Stag. It's fucking stupid. But it's 2 and a green, 2/2. It's an elk mutant. It has evolved. And then whenever Watchful Radstag evolves, create a token that's a copy of it.
Okay.
And so that this is a 2/2. It evolves, goes to a 3/3. You make a 2/2. Then they would both evolve. And then it'd be 4/4, 3/3, 2/2. And, it just
as soon as you got
goes
a creature
wide and tall as
Yeah.
you're going. But also if the top one's going to evolve, then all of them are going to evolve.
But you may get some mid-range evolving, which make littler ones, but doesn't hit the top ones. Yeah, that's kind of a.
This feels very like Scoot Swarmish, where like it just gets out of hand because you're making copies of itself. I think this is probably a little bit more reserved because evolving is different than putting a 1/1 counter on it. Like the act of evolving, you need a creature bigger to evolve it, versus you can just fucking fetch land, ramp card, and just landfall like crazy with Scoot Swarm.
Right.
But those stay 1/1s, and this just gets bigger and bigger. So I think it's in that range of being that powerful. It's very cool.
Yeah, I dig that.
All words are made up.
Yeah.
How insightful, Renshai.
What is
next one that we probably want to talk about? I kind of focused on ones that at least have a lot of hype, and I think that one's probably into it. Next one's that $15 one.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, if you're saying that, I'm going here.
Yeah. So that is Alpha Deathclaw. 4, a black, a green for 6/6 Menace Trample, and then whenever it ETBs or becomes monstrous, destroy target permanent monstrous part, is that a 3 or a 5?
That's a
Probably
5.
3. That's a 5 with a black and a green. It gets +4/+4 counters, and you get to do that thing again. At
Jeez.
$15, this thing's
Overpriced.
overrated, right?
That's so
I wouldn't buy this at that at all.
Like,
So it's a lizard mutant. That's not applicable almost at all.
yeah. The
Monstrous is
ETB.
cool, but at 7.
I mean,
that's
I guess
rough.
it's destroying a permanent, so it does hit lands too in this, but 6 and then 7? Like,
I mean, it's a late gamer,
Right.
sure.
I guess it's
And if
yeah,
you're
then
at-
it's a 10/10 at that point, so Menace
So let's
trample.
say you play it at 6. You got a 6/6 Menace trample that destroyed something. Next turn you get a land. You pay the 7, turns into a 10/10 Menace trample. You destroyed something else,
then you
and then attack.
then you flicker it in black and green.
Yeah. I mean, more than likely, just maybe
Just-
sack it for
Just-
something, and
Just
then
hit him for
reanimate it.
10. Just hit him for 10. I mean, that at that
Yeah,
point,
I think you just start
you're just-
bashing,
you're just
right?
hitting
So
face.
I mean, at 15, this is
It's not 15.
at that. I wouldn't buy this at 15 by any means. I don't know if I'd even think about it until like 5,
Right. Yeah, I think
unless you're like, I need it for this deck. Then maybe you can be impatient, but don't buy it at 15.
my lizard mutant deck. Yes.
Right, right. Rapid hybridization.
Yeah.
So that card, I think it's decent. I think but it ain't 15. So
Yeah.
I would avoid that.
All right. Is your next one the nuclear fallout?
Yeah.
How did I know?
Yeah. Well, it's an easy way to go. Nuclear fallout. That's looking like it's about $11. It's X black sorcery. Each creature gets twice -X until end of turn. Each player gets X rad counters. This is an easy wrath that's gonna have just milling everybody. Feels like 350. There you go.
350. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like this nuclear fallout for mill decks. Like, this is
Yeah.
fantastic for other mill decks. So it's a board wipe mixed in with milling everybody, including yourself. But in a mill deck, you don't care that much. So when I get my mill deck finally redone, this is definitely going to go in there. So I can see this one staying higher, maybe not 11, but maybe. I mean, because it is a board wipe with mill built in, continuous mill, because they're going to hit 1/3 of those are going to be
Some
land.
lands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're going to at least have to do it a couple times potentially. So yeah, I like this one a lot.
I guess I'll ask this at the end there. So I think it's an interesting one. I still don't think it'd be a $10 card. Wraths generally don't stay that big, but maybe it
mixed
would
with the
because it's a
mill,
wrath for mill decks.
It
And
could.
maybe one of the better ones
Yeah.
in that regard. So I think that's a questionable one. If you love it, let us know where you plan on putting it. Put it in the comments. Be like, hey, this is great here. Because I think it's interesting, like you're saying.
Well, and that's the thing too, is with a lot of times with mill decks, you don't have a lot of creatures. It's more a prevention from people coming at you. So the board wipe is actually beneficial, and then you get the mill built in on top of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the hard part is Bruvac is your best mill, and he is just mono blue. So it's like
Mono blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where is this going? It
Yeah.
could be in the wall god deck, the
Yeah.
black blue deception.
And I'll tell you, Captain N-word is not very
Not that.
not very good with that. So Captain Narg. All right, your next
The last one is more just what I'm excited for, but it's ranging Yao Guai.
Can you hit your own button?
Yeah.
He can't even
Is it a
read.
land or where am I looking? What
It's
is
a
it?
creature. So
Oh, I
back,
gotta go
up,
back up,
it's an
back up.
X spell.
Ranging.
That one. Yep. It's 3 green and an X. Yeah.
Oh, rampaging.
X-
You said ranging.
Rampaging. I said that. I told you I wrote all this in the dark. I was waiting for kids to go to bed. So 2/2 vigilance trample with the X. It comes in with X/1/1 counters on it, and then when it ETBs, destroy any number of target artifacts and/or enchantments with total mana value X or less. And so comes
That's-
into play. It's big.
That's
and you
interesting.
get to destroy a bunch of artifacts and enchantments in that regard.
Because I do like this one a lot, because the thing is it's a you may destroy any number or destroy any number.
Right.
You don't need to. It's not hitting yours. You hit everybody else's stuff. I like that.
Guess how much treasure clue and food tokens are?
Zero.
So you get to destroy all of those tokens, plus whatever else you do. So just for 3 green mana, you get a 2/2 Vigilance Trample that destroys all token artifacts. Not a bad deal if you got to get going on that early.
Yeah, I mean that.
And then it just gets bigger the longer the game goes on.
I mean that basically takes out what's its nuts that everybody uses, the ETB elf that comes in and destroy target artifact. It's 1 green, 2 colorless. Same CMC. Everybody uses it. You know what I'm talking about. Don't read the comments.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, you're reading the
what
comments.
you're talking about, but I wasn't paying attention.
It's the most common. It's probably one of the most popular green cards. It comes in and Elvish, just not disclaimer. Reclamation Sage. Did I get it? There we go.
That's one.
I worked it. That's the one that ETBs. Without your help, you're reading comments. I could tell. I was like, you would normally help me out a lot quicker, and you just had a shit grin on your face, you bastard. All right.
I have no interest in letting you hang on that one. Sorry.
Okay, so I guess I have to do this part, huh?
Is it worth it? Let me work it.
Is it worth it? From how much you said it was $33 for the reprints, and then I liked this last one, your rampaging Yao Guai dude a lot.
Yeah.
I liked the mill one. So there's more cards I would probably use in this deck than the first deck that I did, the Science. So
Science?
I think just in that I would use more of these. For me, I think it would be worth it. For me, because I would use a little bit more of these cards than the other deck. But for you,
and to add a little bit more perspective onto it, there is a handful of proliferate cards in here that are new to itself, and there are plenty of decks out there that are +1/+1 counters that proliferate. Poison counter or poison decks proliferate.
So there's a lot more potential with
decks.
the other stuff, is what you're saying too.
Yeah. So like an energy deck is just kind of doing energy things, and it's, if that's what you want to do, great. Then go get the Science one. But with this, it hits a lot of different things. You're potentially adding mill decks. There's proliferate that hits a lot of stuff. People like mutants. That's I don't know why, but they do.
We'll get more of them when we get to Marvel in next year, so we'll get another
also true
influx of those.
Also
bad boys.
true. Green, black, blue is great. You got that little bit of mill there. So I think this is a solid deck to get.
This is for you.
I am a get. Again, enough new cards that I'm not worried about what the reprints are doing.
Okay, got it. Cool. All right. We'll do a bean after my next one, because then we'll beat them with our 3. All right, the third one is Hail Caesar. Let me get my notes here. So Hail Caesar, again, this one's a $59 card, or $59 deck as well. There is 37 new cards in this one. With this one's just an interesting. I like the commander a lot with this one. So I'll get to the commander. Well, I guess I'll show the commander there. No, because that's one of the cards.
You can do that when we're talking about reprints.
Okay,
that's a good idea.
So this one has a lot of good, decent reprints. So the last one, I said there were three of them were over $3. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have Pitiless Plunderer, Anguish the Unmaking, which both of these have their art. All this is going to have, I think for the most part, it's all Fallout art. So
right. I think the whole thing is Fallout art. I don't think there's anything.
Ruinous Ultimatum, Skull Clamp being printed for like the 4th time in the last year, it feels like. Talisman of Indulgence is a $3 card. Black Market.
I think that'll drop after this one.
Yeah, in my opinion. Black Market is printed for the second. We just talked about this in the other Commander deck, so again, we're getting a reprint here. And then Tainted Peak is one of those the lands that if you have a swamp then it can be red or black
that'll
or whatever.
probably drop under
Yeah,
too.
so that was 3. So the most expensive is the Ultimatum. Skull Clamp at 8, and Ultimatum's at 6, and then Plunderer is at 5. That total is $33 just in the things that are over $3 or more. The cards that are between 1 and 3, we have 9 of those, so about $9. So you have a total of $42 of your reprints. Now, again, this one's a $59 one. You're pretty close just in your reprints there. So if you already have those cards, you can buy list those. Yeah, black market, not black market connections. Yes, not the connections. I don't think I said connections, but yes, it's not connections. It's black market. I wish it was black market connections, but okay. So $42 of your reprints, pretty good there. The thing about this deck is I liked a lot of the commanders. Whereas if you looked at when I did the science one, I think I only picked one of them was a legendary creature. I'm pretty sure. I think everything in there was there might have been 2 legendary creatures. This one I could have had all 4 of the commanders in this, but I didn't choose all of them, but I did choose quite a few of them. But let's just start with the main guy, Caesar Legion's Emperor. So it's 1 red, white, black for a human soldier, 4/4. Whenever you attack, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, choose 2. Create a 2/1/1 red and white soldier creature tokens with haste and that are tapped and attacking. It doesn't have to be attacking that player. You can have it attack somebody else. So you can get around that whole propaganda, ghostly prison thing because they're already tapped and attacking. The other option, the other mode is you draw a card and you lose life. Great. And then the last one is this deals damage equal to the number of creature tokens you control to target opponent. So they don't have to be attacking. You just can go. This is the deck that I could do the whole go wide with. What is that? That enchantment that I like, and then I always forget the name. Assemble the Legion. And I think that's in here, actually. Assemble the Legion is in here, so you're getting a bunch of tokens. Once you attack with a creature, it doesn't have to be this guy. You sacrifice a creature and then does 2 of these things. So this is a great commander. I can see this one staying, maybe getting around $10. They have it for $13 right now, but I think this is a pretty decent commander. Is probably
right around there.
Yeah, I think there's a couple angles you can do with that. So that one's fun. The next one is another commander. It's Kellogg, Dangerous Mind. We kind of talked about this in the Discord a little bit. It's 1 colorless, a black and a red.
Most of lives living in
A Gangster's Paradise?
Dangerous Minds. That's where the song's from.
There we go. I was trying to, I'm like,
Got
what words are you using?
What are
there?
you doing?
This is a Herman. It's a Herman mercenary. It's a human mercenary. 3/2. First strike haste. When it attacks, create a treasure token. I think I was doing the target lady, and I think I was reading mercenary. I think I read mercenary while reading human, so I went Herman. You can sacrifice 5 treasures. So it's doing a little Magda thing here, but you gain control. This is a dick thing to do. Gain control of target creature for as long as you control this. Activate only as a sorcery. So that's the thing that makes it fair. Activate is only a sorcery. So you can't do like Magda where you're, beginning of my turn or end of your turn, sacrifice.
Yeah, lesson.
Yeah. So this is a fair Magda, but it's not very fair in that you're stealing stuff. Seems like it could be fun. I don't think I'll build it because I want to have friends. That's why I don't.
I might build it.
You're such a dick. But yeah, I think this one's a pretty interesting card. The next one is also another commander. It's Mr. House President and CEO. Red, white, black, 0/4, human. Whenever you roll a 4 or higher, Lowry, you're going to love this one because it's rolling dice.
I don't like this at all.
Roll a 4 or higher, create a 3/3 colorless robot artifact creature token. If you rolled a 6 or higher, instead, create a token, or that token, and a treasure. You can tap 4, tap it, roll a 6-sided die, plus an additional 6-sided die for each mana from treasures spent to activate this ability. So the interesting thing about this, there is 31 cards that are in red, white, and black that are D20 rolling dice things. So a D20, you're probably going to hit, there's a good chance you're hitting above 6. There's a really good chance you're hitting above 4. There is 3 cards that are D10s, and then there's 3 cards that are D6s. So you between those 3, you have 37 different cards you can play with rolling dice. I would stick with the 20s because that gives you the best chance of
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
get in there. But you could. There's your dice rolling deck, Lowry. Are you gonna build this one?
No, I go talk to Alex about this.
Sierra, where's Sierra? Thank you. I didn't click on that one because I was like, I don't remember this card. So Sierra, Nuka's biggest fan, I guess would be my other one. So I was like,
Okay.
I have so many commanders, I need to mix something in, and that's why I went to that one. So this is 3 and a white, human citizen, 3/4. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal damage to a player, put a quest counter on her, and then create a food token, Lowry. Food. And then, see, this is why I like these, because they give us advantages to the food. Whenever you sacrifice a food, target creature you control gets X plus X until end of turn, where X is the number of quest counters on Sierra. So you can make this goes in the food decks, because then you're pumping your stuff even more. It gets quest counters, or is it quest? Is it quest?
Yes.
Yeah, quest counters. Gets quest counters. It's kind of like your professional face breaker. You can't hit somebody with like 5 creatures and get 5 quest counters. But if you hit each player, you get a quest counter, a quest counter, a quest counter, and a food. Because it's not deals. Yeah, it's not one or more players. So you could get 3 foods off of this dropping in, and then you can sacrifice the food and get stuff to get bonuses, get your X plus X on it. So this one I thought was interesting. I don't know if I'd build around it, but I think it would fit in a food deck. But it fits in this deck perfectly because, again, we're talking about going wide. You get your creatures to go through. I think it's a perfect card in there. Okay. And then finally, my non-commander card. It's commander is Vats. This is a removal. But it could be a multiple removal, which is why I like it. I don't like spot removal. I like when you can hit more than one target. So this is 2 and 2 black. Instant. It has split second, so they can't respond once you destroy something. But choose any number of target creatures with equal toughness. Destroy the chosen creatures. At 4, for a split second, destroy a creature, and they can't really do anything about it, can't respond. That's good in itself. But being able to hit multiple targets, that's fantastic. If you're just hitting one with that, fine. That's the worst case scenario. Your best case is hitting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, every single token that's on the board. You know, if somebody has their Avenger of Zendikar out there. So I thought this one was pretty good. This would be the kind of spot removal that I would play with because it has the potential to hit more than just one. And you can't interact with it. The split second, you can't handle, you can't do anything about it.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
Okay, so all that being said, Lowry, you get to decide first.
Is it worth it? Let me work it.
Is this deck worth it to you from what I showed with the price and everything there?
Like I like it. It's a deck that seems like it can be taken apart and added into a lot of different decks where it just be itself and tweak it. But seems playable. It seems within Magic. It seems like it, I just repeat myself now. I like it. I like the new, and again, I like the new cards. So it's worth it for me in that regard. And there's enough reprints there that makes it at least close.
Right. You could sell
even
those
though they'll go down,
reprints
after the reprints on all of these, that value is going to kind of drop. It should.
Yeah.
But it's at least the best out of all 4 decks.
Well, we haven't seen your other one yet. Don't say that yet.
Spoiler alert. It's the Great Henge.
Well, yeah. You and me both. We're in the same boat with. It's worth it. There with me for this one, there's so many useful commanders that I like in this that being able to build different decks with any of these or a deck that I wanted to build anyways. The main commander I think is a lot of fun. And I don't know if I'd build this. I might just play the Precon a couple times and see how it goes. But there's a lot of options here. And like you mentioned, all the new cards, all the reprints. I have all those cards. Oh, good for me. Oh, good for us. But I may buy, if I buy the, I did buy it. I may send those in, but I probably won't because it has the new art. So that's another thing I gotta think about here too, is everything here has all the different art. Yeah. I may send in some of the other ones that I have that are the regular. But yeah, you can get your money back by just sending in some buy list stuff. So All right, let's do our last bean and then get the last deck underway.
All right. Thanks, Scott. That is one hard bean.
And there we go. Okay. This was the first one to come out. And it is going to be a booger or a juicy pear. So flick that bean.
Dirty dishwasher or birthday cake. So both good.
It's like spicy. So it must be a...
Dirty dishwater.
That's not a pear. But it doesn't taste like a booger. I know what those taste like. Just...
That's gross.
Oh.
It's really... I mean,
Okay, maybe it is.
it is, right?
Ugh.
That's gross, right? I'm just confirmation from the chat.
Ugh. Okay.
Which one did you get? As long as it's dead fish is the worst one.
There's a booger.
It is the
There's
worst one.
All right. All right, our last one is Scrappy Survivors. Just so you know, this one's a $50 currently on TCG. Wow, this one has a goldfish price of 200 value. This one has 38 new cards. Lowry, take it away. How are we looking on those reprints here?
Those reprints are awful. There's nothing.
Really?
Heroic Interventions at 10. Nothing else over that for reprints.
But that's decent at least. You got a $10 one. I haven't had anything close to 10. I guess I had an 8, but...
Then there's Pure Still Paladin. That's 2. Blasphemous Act. That's 2. Basilica Collar. That's 3. Masterwork of Ingenuity is 2. And then you have Champion's Helm at 3. And you have Rootbound Crag and Sunpell Grove, which are 2s, for a total of $26.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that our lowest? Mine was 20.
So.
The first one was 26 as well. So that
okay.
fits.
They're tied for the bottom.
Yeah.
It's not good. And then you're talking about like Blasphemous Act is reprinted every chance that you get. The only one that's like one that I'm Pure Still Paladin was just reprinted in Commander Masters. Heroic Interventions reprinted all the time, but it's so good that it's gonna hold, especially with the new art and stuff like that. Champion's Helm was just reprinted in Commander Masters. And they generally will do the core set lands of Rootbound Crag, Sunpell Grove. Like they do those. Those are decent, solid. Keep them. But that's it. Reprints, real not special. But let's go with Dog Meat, Ever Loyal. Probably shouldn't have started off like that because I gotta find it.
It's a red, a green, a white for a dog. It's a 3/3. You there yet?
All right. 3/3 Doggo. When Dog Meat enters the battlefield, mill 5 cards, then return an aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. Then whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, create a junk token. We already talked about the junk tokens, but you sack it, you get to exile the top card, and you can play it.
Turn.
Is that until end of turn or?
Library, you may play that card
This turn.
Yep,
so
this
you can
turn.
only play it that turn.
And you can only
so
activate
this
as a
is-
sorcery. I didn't realize that. Okay, that makes sense.
And then this is only a its focal point is auras, equipment, and kind of interactions with that. That's why you got Pure Still Paladin in there. And then obviously you got a dog as a commander. People like dogs,
Yeah,
so
Just-
that'll be good.
just like
but
Sar
that's
said.
sitting at $7. Seems
That's
fair.
that's about. It'll probably come down a bit.
It'll probably come down. Yeah. Next one, or one that we want to talk about, it's $15. Preston Garvey Minuteman. Yeah, right down there at the bottom. That's a lot of words. I gotta probably go find that too.
The Minuteman is what our mascot was in high school. It was great having that, which is actually the Patriot symbol. We're the Minutemen. It's like, oh yeah.
All right. 2, a red, a green, a white for a 4/4 human soldier. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a green aura attached or enchantment token named Settlement attached to up to 1 target land you control, and that enchanted land has enchanted land tapped for any color of mana. And then whenever Preston attacks, untap each enchanted permanent you control. So
Alright.
$15 seems a bit much.
Yeah.
I do like that
Beginning
there's plenty of enchantment and aura support out there for this. They basically already made an aura precon
Yeah.
for this years ago at this point.
Wasn't that the
with the
planeswalker,
masks.
the mask? Yeah.
Yep. So like I think you can fold those two together in this kind of deck. I think people really it'd be nice if it added mana.
Right.
Obviously.
It just does. It already taps, but now it taps for any color.
Yeah.
But
And then
whatever. It
untaps as
untaps
well.
when he attacks, so that works
Right.
too.
So I like it. I don't love it. Again, I think this is something
I want some
that'll
more
come
of it.
down. I wonder. Yes. But I wonder if this has some type of popularity within the game as well.
that's also the thing
like-
is we are very oblivious to like we're strictly magic cards, cool
Yeah.
picture. Don't know who this is. It's a guy with a
Right.
gun. All right.
So it could be a main guy where people really like him as a character. If not, I think it's a lot of work
Mhm.
to untap stuff. And that doesn't make me mad about it, but it's, in my opinion, it's like a Jorn that untaps all your snow permanents. Like, but you're doing more work to untap your stuff here,
yeah.
and it's more mana. So, again, that I like Jorn. It's just
this
not
one,
a $15
This
card.
one won't be 15. Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't think so. All right. Next one.
Next one is going to end up being Inventory Management, another $15 one.
I like it.
Red and a white instant, and has split second as well. And then for each aura and equipment you control, you may attach it to a creature you control.
Oh, I like this one a lot. This might be one of my favorite cards that is in all of these decks because like that split second thing and being able to just basically go, oh, you're killing this that isn't protected by anything. Oh, I'm moving my Greaves, my this, and everything over to that one creature.
Right.
Or even don't even have any of the equipment attached, and you attack and they don't block, and now you attach all the equipment that splits. I like this. Yeah.
Yeah, this one definitely seems cool.
I think the price is probably
At $15.
It's
I
gonna come
always hate
down.
to say that it's gonna be 15.
But I think it's going to come. I think it'll go up over time as this sits out. But right away, it's going to come down. But this is a good card for, especially equipment's a big thing, you know, and it's hitting the colors that you need, right? I mean,
Yeah.
red is, white is your equipment color, but red is also what, the secondary equipment? I'm trying to think if it is.
Yeah. But and I think your second example is probably what's going to hit it on the head. Is like you just have a bunch of equipment and auras sitting around, and one of your creatures is getting through, and you're like, get it all on that creature and
Yeah.
do huge amounts of damage.
Yeah.
So, and they can't do anything about that. So I like the card, like you're saying. Do I love it? I mean, it's definitely an aura / equipment deck card.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can use it in that regard, but if you have enough equipment that are doing like protection stuff, like you're saying, Greaves boots, Avacyn's mask, something like that, and you're able to shift it over to protect the card, I don't think that's a bad deal either.
Yeah. I like this one.
So
Probably one of my Boros is your okay, yeah, Boros.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite one of the ones that we've seen so far. So okay. And then that was number
and
3.
not going let's go Pip Boy 3000, which is equipment artifact, and it's about $6. Yeah, I just like this one. 1 mana to come down, and whenever the creature or equip is that 2?
3. Yeah, no, it's 2.
Yeah, it's
2.
It's really cheap and efficient. That's it. So whenever an equipped creature attacks, you get to choose one. You either get to draw a card and discard a card, or put a 1/1 counter on it, or untap up to 2 target lands. And so I like that utility that's there. The attack trigger is really nice and Ishin, obviously, and Wolfgar. But just being able to choose, like, am I going to ramp a little bit? Am I going to see more cards, or do I need this creature to get a little bit bigger? And it's really cheap to come out. You can Urza's
Yeah,
what's that bad land that you guys
I was
like?
just about to say it too. Urza Saga. Well, should I? Should I get your little thing here, Lowry?
Get the fuck out.
that was probably said more than the normal "get the fuck out" commander last night. It's your version of "get the fuck
And
out."
so I like it. Again, it's $7 on here on Goldfish. I don't know if it's going to be that.
Well, I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
it's a mode. It doesn't cost a lot to equip,
Right.
and it's doing a lot of stuff. Like, it doesn't have to deal damage. Come on, microphone, stay where you're at. I'll just talk down here like this. So it doesn't have to deal damage. It's on attack. I like it. I think this one's good, and it gets got by Urza Saga. So just A++ right there. Urza's for life. Hell, wait, dang it!
Get the fuck out.
I almost said it's Friday. I got one more button. There we go.
Get the fuck out.
Oh, it's my favorite button. All right. And then we got one more for you. Or is that 5? Was that
maybe
5?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess so. Actually, there's 2 that I would like to talk about real quick because it's next one's $12 at Idolized. It's Aura down in the enchantment. Down. I went in order for you. So Idolized.
Thank you.
This is 1 in a white Aura enchant creature, and then the creature has whenever this creature attacks, it gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of non-land permanents you control. And so it's essentially exalted, but it doesn't have to attack alone. And that's 2 mana, and that creature's going to get big
Holy crap! Yeah, it is.
real fast.
Yeah.
And it's cheap. And I think that's the huge thing. Like 2 mana in your creature, if all you have is your creature
And
the
this,
aura,
it's
it gets
2/2.
+2/+2.
Yeah. And it's just
And
anything
then-
else, it's so much bigger. Yeah.
How many rocks do you got?
Right.
How many
Creatures, how many? Yeah.
enchantments? Like it's gonna get big real quick.
Yeah, I like that. That it's mighty huge
And then-
there.
The last one, actually, this might be one of my favorite ones, but Strong Back. It's another aura down at $9 right there. Yeah. 2 and a green aura. Equip abilities you activate that target enchanted creature costs 3 less to activate.
That's pretty nice.
Aura spells you cast that target enchanted creature costs 3 less to cast. And enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it.
So that goes in with like the, what is it, Ancestral's Mask or whatever that gets the 2/+2 for each aura and enchantment and stuff like. Oh man, so this
Just
is
reducing those costs.
Yeah, you're able to just attach it easier. You get this out first, and then you're like boop boop, put everything else on. Oh,
you
that's
got a
really
creature with hexproof, and it's gonna get huge.
Yeah, this one's fantastic. I like this one a lot. Yeah.
So like at $10, this is easily, in my mind, it is in between $5 and $10.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
In that regard.
Yep. Okay.
So,
So
that's it.
all right.
Is it worth
Is it worth
Let
it?
me work it.
This one's actually probably my favorite deck of all of them. Like it has so. I guess I have because I have my, but Akiri is not an equipment deck. But I'd like so many of these are like I want to put in Akiri just because they're good. Like this is fantastic. So for me, there's so many usable cards in this. Even though this only it's one of the cheaper decks. Didn't have a lot of good reprint. I would say it has the best reprint of the cards we've talked about with the Heroic Intervention. That card gets used in every single green deck I have. For me, this is totally worth it.
Baby, I'm worth it.
This one's probably the most worth it for me out of all the decks that we've seen because I'll use a lot of these in other decks and stuff. But
And for brevity, I would say it's definitely worth it as well, just because auras, equipments, they can be used anywhere, but also just in their respective decks. And there's a lot of new good cards that like you see it and you're like, oh, that's very playable. That it doesn't have to be like, how many hoops am I jumping through? Is this good? What deck do I need to put this in? Because Strong Back's going to go in a lot of decks that are just Voltroning with auras or equipment. Like that's a good card.
yeah, for sure.
And there are a lot of really good new cards in here. So I agree, totally worth it.
Yep. All right. So you did the thing. All right. That's worth it. So you were 4 for 4 for worth it. I was 3 for 4.